before they hope to rise to the ascended master consciousness. Without that integration, man's spiritual progress and evolution will remain short-sighted and incomplete. The one-sided training of the mind, which is usually given in the schools, leaves the invisible, more powerful bodies of the individual entirely untrained, so that these bodies, not to be inclined or perhaps not even having knowledge of the necessity of cooperating for the evolutionary progress of the spirit. To the evolving soul and spirit who seeks to ascend to the ascended master consciousness and tries by various means to achieve this goal of unity with perfected thought and feeling, I offer the following instructions. As the four lower bodies are contributing factors to the fluidic consciousness, which in unascended beings is in a state of constant change, we must see that to rise into the ascended master consciousness, we must have the control of and cooperation from these four sources that are constantly qualifying the individual consciousness of the life stream. As Serapis indicated, for the plane to rise, the four engines must be in complete unison as to revolutions of the propellers, the power of the motors, and the efficacy of the individual engines in order to unite completely with the power of the other contributing engines, that their united impetus might transcend the law of gravity. Due to the uneven development of the inner bodies, it is more of a task to raise and harmonize one than the other, and the particular inner vehicle requiring the greater treatment varies according to the aspirant's development through the centuries. For instance, many devotional life streams find their emotional bodies easily tuned into the spiritual currents, whereas the physical and mental bodies often lag behind. Here you have a spiritual phenomena, so to speak, wherein one of the four bodies, or two, can often experience a great ecstasy, which vibrates but little through the others, and this does not, as a rule, have a lasting and permanent effect, because of the weight of the other bodies, not having been raised to a transcendent place where they were not completely submerged in the higher consciousness, affect adversely the transcendent experience. This has happened time and again when individuals have experienced emotional ecstasy. Individuals with highly developed mental bodies have probed the inner possibilities of the occult law, which have greatly increased their mental capacity, but which are oftentimes never experienced in the emotional body to any extent. You may continue this trend of thought with regard to the other bodies, but of course the etheric body is always impressed by any experience of these three sister vehicles. A little contemplation will assure you that these experiences, when not entered into by the four vehicles of man expression, do not lead to a balanced evolution of the spiritual nature, and will one day require the training and preparation of the lagging vehicle in order that the four may enter the chamber of devotion and aspiration at once, and kneeling simultaneously before the risen host, accept the spiritual communion. In preparation for your meditation and contemplation, it is therefore to your greatest advantage to secure the conscious cooperation of your physical, mental, emotional, and your etheric bodies. Self-analysis will truly reveal to you the various vessels that require more preparation and tuning up than the others which are naturally prepared for the contemplative period. Then, by devoting a little more time to the raising of the recalcitrant members of the team, you will move the entire consciousness of the life stream into the higher octave. You will find then your contemplation more satisfactory and its resulting effect more lasting, and you'll also be a greater service as a conductor because the fine vibrations playing equally through the entire set of vehicles will be of great assistance in developing them toward a more godly expression. Now, having prepared your nature for the inrush of the divine consciousness from your own higher self, or an ascended being, you come to the truth that it is only vibration of thought and feeling which changes, and that you enter the higher octave consciously and at will, by raising the vibration of your four bodies to a point where you enter the vibratory action all around you that is ever present, and to which you can tune yourself by sounding the same keynote as that to which the ascended master consciousness is vibrating. For instance, take kindliness. The spirit of kindliness is ever present. It is not something that must be drawn from beyond the farthest star, but the life stream, desiring to have this consciousness filled with kindliness, merely raises the vibratory action of his inner body and finds that in the room in which he is sitting, the air is filled with the substance of kindliness, and that as he tunes in toward it, the vibratory action of kindliness rushes toward him, and when they meet, the life stream experiences the cosmic feeling which kindliness is. This is the same with purity, wisdom, love, and the various God qualities, just as the music is within the room, but requires a mechanical contrivance to draw the vibratory action downward to a point where the physical ear may hear it. So is the kingdom of heaven at hand, requiring but the conscious attunement of the inner bodies that you may experience in as mechanical and scientific a way the fullness of the octaves of light as you hear a program over the radio. In the following discourse, the following same trend of thought, Saint Germain added the following: Many an ascetic man who obeyed the law of abstinence, who mortified the body and died in a hair shirt, but who did not perform the mortification of the feeling and mental body, has not risen as high as one more lax in fleshly things, but more strict in the sublimation of the soul. Think it through, for on death you don't take your physical body with you, you take your soul. Many a man in a monastery, many a woman in a convent, performing certain abstinence and mortification of the physical body, filled with bitterness, spiritual pride, and arrogance of the soul. When the body is laid down in death, the soul, which was all that was left to go before the karmic board, is worse than if they had lived a jolly life and gone home in a soul in which there was some semblance of tolerance and peace. There is a balance in the law. Moral and ethical obedience to the fleshly law of right living are good and are to be commended if they make faith in the soul endurance in the consciousness and purity in the nature. But if they build up frustrations and cause scars on the soul, better that they had never been. So be it. Addressed by beloved Saint Germain. Each absorbs according to his development. Blessed be your souls within those dear bodies and the voluntary energies offered me, that builded these ties that bind heart, soul, consciousness, and spirit in bonds of oneness and love. You pledge to serve the cause of freedom, and pledge to the energies of the physical garments to bring into outer action the glorious vision of the ceremonial activities of the seventh ray. Yet, having secured those bodies, the outer self of many forgot their vows. Can you imagine in my happiness my gratitude for those who have remembered, for those of you sweet and constant spirits who have loved freedom more than your personal enjoyment, more than the following of pursuits and interests which might have incorporated your energy? You who have come year in and year out into the heart of these sanctuaries and temples and have given to the best of your conscience and ability your energies in song and invocation and decrees on behalf of mankind. Dear to my heart are your spirits. Dear to my hearts are the very elements that make up the sweet garments that clothe your soul round. And dear to my heart are those blessed consciousness into which we gradually pouring light, understanding and comprehension, endeavoring in every way to enable you to understand the power within your heartbeat. Oh, beloved friends, accept my gratitude. Accept my hand through the veil. Accept my arms warm around you in an embrace of brotherhood for your service to life, for your love of life, for your willingness to bend your knees before the power of the universe and ask to be shown the will of God. It is in this asking, this invocation, this upward reaching from your soul, that we are granted the opportunity to return on the very beam of your own energy into your world and speak with you, thus making a true and living fact the credo of the Christian Church, where the communion of the saints is affirmed part of the belief of each individual. Beloved heart friends, the vision of tomorrow is incorporated into the energies which you give willingly today. How can I draw into a short space of time all that I would like to say? I am like a father endeavoring to give the entire wisdom of a life lived to a son in a matter of a few moments. Yet somehow I must endeavor to touch that high point of the understanding within the ceremonial ray, that you may take heart and move forward, knowing that there is a beautiful plan and design that shall be externalized, because it is the will of the eternal, and it must be done. We are at the beginning of a new age in which, through the courtesy and kindness of life, I am the Kohan, and will assist you in the religious service which will be manifested in the worship of the next 2,000-year period. You have learned that this is the activity of the violet ray. You have learned that it is the activity of ordered service and ritual. You have learned that it is the activity where mankind, angels and elementals, will again be drawn together in conscious cooperation and hand in hand, walk together along the path of evolution, where they will serve together, build together, the kingdom of heaven on earth, and worship together in ceremonials which your blessed hearts cannot yet conceive possible of manifestation in this third-dimensional plane. Beloved Lord Maitreya has suggested I present to you the plan of evolution from the human kingdom, that the Mahachohan give to you the plan from the elemental kingdom, and Lord Michael, the Archangel, give you the plan from the angelic consciousness, so that you may see that the three are one, and that together they form a great harmonious whole. Beloved ones, we are at the very beginning of this new era. Every great religion, which is extended for approximately 2,000 years, passes through 7 stages. In the very beginning, the divine will is sought, and some individual with light and understanding brings the will of God to the few who are willing to hear. You are at that point today. As there are so many different types of life streams among you, representing the guardian spirits, not only from the planet Earth, from the other planets of our system, and from the sun, but also from the elemental and angelic kingdom, it is difficult for you to receive into your varied consciousness the divine plan as a whole. Each receives according to his own evolution, his own development, his own awareness and capacity to understand, and to him all the others seem perhaps bewildering, uncertain, and confusing in their reception. Let me assure you that as we develop and bring to your conscious understanding the service of the angelic kingdom in drawing and pouring forth radiation, of the elemental kingdom in building, form, and sustaining it, and of the human kingdom becoming the bridge between the angelic and the elemental kingdom, you will understand that there is a place in this great and new activity for every life stream, and this knowledge will one day enlighten the entire mass of mankind. I stood at the beginning of the Christian dispensation, and into my arms the beloved Master Jesus, who was to be the first impetus of the entire dispensation, was placed, even before his mother received him. I stroked tenderly the soft down of that baby head. I looked into those large liquid eyes that had not yet focused upon the plane of consciousness and shadow into which he had come to function. I touched those petal-soft hands that one day would call the dead to life, and through which would flow the energies by which withered arms would be restored and the blind be made to see. I looked upon that infant form. I declared there did not seem at that hour to be much except faith to carry us forward into the hope of establishing a creed that would become the life-breath of millions. I walked a long way into Egypt with that infant and that beautiful girl bride. I made the first pair of sandals for those baby feet. I listened as my beautiful Mary spoke to her son about the importance and devotion that each man should feel toward the soul of the other men. I learned of the tenderness of the eternal in that simple life. Who would have thought then, as we lived so simply, so as I earned our meager bread as a carpenter, that one day the Christian religion would be accepted by millions, great edifices would be built, and thousands of voices would join in song and adoration to that small child and his blessed mother? And yet it has been done. I have seen many new ventures, beloved hearts. I crossed uncharted sea with nothing but faith in my heart and a vision in my mind, conscious only of my own soul's light. Many a night as I stood alone on the deck of our small vessel, gazing out over the expanse of the starlit ocean, I wondered if my faith were anchored in truth, and yet the miracle was born and lives. From sea to sea great cities stand, and America is a nation of merit upon our planet this day. I see your hearts, each one. I see the strength and I see the weakness. I see the tenderness in each of your souls, not unlike the down of a baby's head. Yet I know, for now, I see with freedom's sight that tomorrow's world is becoming builded today through the consciousness of individuals willing to sit at the feet of the masters and accept their word, their understanding, their promises, as much of the vision as their blessed minds can accept, as much of the truth as their feelings can absorb. Beloved ones, be of good cheer. How do you think I feel? For many centuries have I tried to establish a world brotherhood where every man will love his neighbor, and where the good of all life will be the paramount feeling within the heartbeat. And even yet, among the chosen, that conscience of separateness abides. Oh, my beloved heart friends, you are building a foundation today just as surely as we, that innocent, humble family in Galilee, builded a foundation in, through, and around a few fishermen, who has become the strength of a dispensation that has lasted for 2,000 long years. As we grow and develop, you will see the exquisite music and ritual that will raise the souls of men and help them to connect for even an instant with that immortal fiery presence which is their divine pattern. You will see come forth through the hearts of the humble and the earnest the designs and plans that are complete in the etheric realm, awaiting the receptive consciousness of incarnate sons and daughters of men to be externalized. As the Christian dispensation closes, you will see manifested the seventh sub-ray within the sixth ray, in which a magnificent ceremonial service will be developed through the churches. The Christian churches have developed their ceremonial activities to their greatest height, and now we are in the first sub-ray of the great seventh ray, where all are asking for the will of God. Some say that will is to make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Others say, oh no, it is to breathe rhythmically and harmoniously in the silence. Yet others say, oh no, it is to go forth and teach the word with the tongues of angels. And others say, no, it is embodied brotherhood. Others yet say, I feel it is to be incarnate beauty. Many say that the mathematical precision of the law is truth, the ingoing and the outgoing force of love, and they describe it as the fifth ray man sees truth. We have also those blessed ones whose devotion is so great, and they say, no, the ceremonies must be completely devotional. Do you see? And yet all are right, for all are of the seven great rays now combining. To those who will be patient, to those who will allow each life stream the development of its own momentum gathered through the centuries, I will show what a combination of the seven types of perfected life streams working together can do, not only in worship but in individual God mastery. What is religion in its final essence, but a way to find the connection with God, and in that finding each man to become a God incarnate? It is not God, nor the angels, nor the masters of light and wisdom who require adoration or redemption. It is man who requires the connection with his God self, and the intelligent direction of its consciousness in order to be free. Freedom means the ability to incorporate into the energy of one's own inner body whatever is necessary to become master of thought, of feeling, and of all manifest form. How I would love to take you individually or in groups, say for 1 month, and show you the power of the sacred fire within your own hearts. I am an alchemist, you know. For many, many centuries previous to my own ascension and freedom, I worked on alchemy, on transmuting various elements through the action first of the physical fire, and then at the direction of my teacher, through the drawing of the sacred fire. And their momentum within the use of the violet consuming flame was built, which is the highest form of alchemy. It is simply changing the quality of energy, through the invocation of the qualified power of purification, through the use of the sacred fire which sets you free. Oh, beloved ones, accept the power within the heartbeat to set you free. If I could only in some manner convey into your feelings the power within one electron as it passes, pure and perfect, from the heart of your presence into your physical heart, and then out into your own world. Yet that stream of electrons flows so rapidly from your presence that there is no outer mechanical means that could catch a single atom or electron in its flight. That constant stream of light flowing into your heart and out into the world is for the most part not used, because you do not know the power of healing, the power of supply, the power of light, the power of love that is within your own beating heart. Oh, beloved ones, contemplate in the silence of your own room the power of God that is within you. As it flows, allow it to transform your world. I shall endeavor to help you, for you are my representatives. You are the life streams that mankind can see. Your bodies, your worlds, your consciousness represent my teaching, my world, and my very self. I am dependent upon you to mirror that which you have received through the years from me. It is not easy to remain behind the veil and to await the caprice of the outer self, but I am so desirous of showing in manifest form the perfection of light which I see within the pattern for each life stream. I plead with you, in the name of all that is good and holy, arise in the